More than 3,000 years ago, long before banks, credit cards, and financial apps, the Bible was already warning us about something families discover too late. Poverty does not always begin in the wallet. Many times it begins in habits, in debt, in lack of vision, and in a mindset repeated from generation to generation. In the fields of Israel, in the palaces of Egypt, in the streets of Jerusalem, and in the words of Jesus, there are ancient money laws. They do not promise magic wealth, but reveal how to break cycles of lack through wisdom and discipline. In this video, you will discover 5 biblical laws of money to break cycles of poverty. Not to chase money as an idol, but to manage it as a steward. Not to live for appearances, but to build freedom and legacy. Law number 1. Break the chain of debt before debt breaks your purpose. Open to Proverbs 22:7. There we find an uncomfortable truth. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Picture an ancient family standing at the door of a creditor. They do not bring gold. They do not bring a harvest. They bring worry. Debt is no longer just a balance. Now it decides what they can eat, what they sell, how much they rest, and even what future their children may have. The Bible reveals the spiritual and financial danger of living tied to what you still cannot pay. Debt promises quick relief, but many times it charges you slowly with your freedom. Today, the chain looks like small monthly payments, impulse purchases, credit used to impress others, silent interest, and a paycheck that disappears before it reaches your home. The first law: do not call it prosperity if you are still paying for it with slavery. Breaking cycles of poverty requires you to stop financing an image and start financing freedom. Make a real list of your debts. Stop opening new chains while you are breaking the old ones. Attack first what drains your peace the most. Sell what feeds your pride, but not your purpose. Debt does not only buy things, it buys your future time. And a child of God was not called to live enslaved by impulsive decisions. Financial freedom begins when you decide that your purpose is worth more than your appearance. But getting out of debt is not enough if you live without direction. That is why the second law goes deeper. Law number 2, store up in the good years so you do not beg in the hard years. Imagine the palace of Egypt. Genesis 41 shows Joseph standing before Pharaoh. A forgotten prisoner interprets a dream the wise men could not understand. 7 fat cows, 7 thin cows, 7 full heads of grain, 7 dry heads of grain. The message was clear. Years of abundance would come, and after them, years of famine. But Joseph did not only give a spiritual interpretation, he gave a financial strategy. During the good years, Egypt had to gather a portion of the harvest and store it in barns. While others celebrated without thinking ahead, Joseph managed. While others consumed, Joseph prepared. While others thought abundance would last forever, Joseph understood that every season has an expiration date. Here is the second law. Abundance is not permission to spend more. It is an opportunity to prepare better. Many families are not poor because money never came. They are poor because every increase in income became an increase in spending. The salary went up and the debt went up. A bonus came in and an unnecessary purchase followed. Extra money entered the door and emotion carried it right back out. Joseph teaches that every good season must build barns. Your modern barn is called an emergency fund, savings, work tools, education, debt payment, stored food, useful skills, and healthy relationships. Do not wait until you lose your job to start saving. Do not wait for a crisis to discover you had no margin. Poverty grows stronger when everything that comes in gets consumed. Wisdom grows stronger when a portion of what comes in gets assigned. If this teaching is waking you up, subscribe now and turn on the bell, because every week we reveal biblical principles about money, debt, wisdom, and legacy. Stay until the end, because the next laws confront the invisible root that keeps many families trapped. Law number 3, work with diligence, even when no one is applauding you. Proverbs 10:4 says that a slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. Look at it. It is not a crowded temple. It is not a public miracle. It is not coins raining from heaven. It is a hand working. A person getting up when they do not feel like it. Sowing while others complain. Learning while others get distracted. Correcting small habits that nobody sees. In the Bible, Work is not a punishment. Before the fall, Adam already had an assignment in the garden. God gave him responsibility before giving him abundance. That means ordered, honest work is part of the divine design. Cyclical poverty feeds on a lie. Nothing will change, so I will do nothing. Diligence breaks that lie one day at a time. Not every effort gives immediate results, but negligence almost always produces decline. In your finances, diligence means arriving on time, keeping your word, learning a valuable skill, tracking expenses, selling honestly, serving with excellence, and not despising small beginnings. Joseph was faithful in Potiphar's house before he governed Egypt. David cared for sheep before he faced giants. Ruth gathered grain before she entered a new story. The Bible shows a pattern. God often forms managers in hidden places before placing them in visible places. Poverty wants to convince you that small things do not matter. But small things are the secret test of great things. Do not despise the job you have while you build new abilities. Do not look down on a small business if it is teaching you order and character. Diligence is not only working hard, it is working with purpose and becoming trustworthy. The diligent hand does not wait for luck. It builds capacity, and when opportunity comes, it finds that hand prepared. But you can work hard and still stay poor if everything you earn disappears into disorder. That is why the fourth law comes next. Law number 4, put your house in order before asking for more abundance. Proverbs 21:20 says that precious treasure and oil are in the house of the wise, but a foolish person devours it all. Do not rush past this. The Bible takes us into a home. In one house there is oil, provision, reserve, and care. In the other, there were resources, but now nothing remains. The problem was not only lack of income, it was lack of management. The fool is not necessarily someone with no money. Sometimes the fool is someone who receives, but wastes, earns, but does not know where it went, buys, but does not calculate, promises, but does not plan, gets excited, but does not govern himself. This law confronts a common prayer. Lord, give me more. And the Bible seems to answer, first show me what you did with what already passed through your hands. Jesus said in Luke 16:10 that whoever is faithful with very little is also faithful in much. Before multiplication, God looks at management. Before asking for a raise, check the leaks. Before asking for open doors, close the holes where your provision is escaping. The modern application is direct. Make a budget, even a simple version. Separate money for needs, debt, savings, generosity, and learning. Stop calling something an emergency when it was really lack of planning. Cancel expenses that feed anxiety. Talk with your family about money without yelling. A house that does not talk about money ends up obeying chaos. Order is not greed. Order is giving every dollar a purpose before impulse carries it away. The wise have oil because they decided not to devour everything. The foolish devour everything because they are ruled by the moment. Here is the strong part. Many times God does not need to give you more money to change your life. He needs to give you more order with what you already have. Because more money in a disordered house creates a bigger disorder. Abundance without management becomes a leak. Management with wisdom turns little into seed. But the Bible does not stop at savings, debt, and work. It goes to the heart, because you can organize your finances and still remain trapped in a deeper poverty, living only for yourself. Law number 5, turn money into seed for purpose and legacy. In 2 Corinthians 9, Paul teaches that God loves a cheerful giver, not as manipulation, not as a way to buy miracles, not as a formula for quick riches. Biblical generosity is a free heart saying, what I have is not my God. It is only a tool under the authority of God. Imagine the scene of the poor widow in Mark 12. Jesus watches wealthy people putting in large amounts, but his attention stops on a woman almost invisible to others. She gives 2 small coins. To many, it was little. To Jesus, it was a revelation. He did not measure the offering by its size, but by its surrender. Poverty loses power when you understand that it is not defined by what it lacks, but by how it manages what it has. But this law also speaks about legacy. Proverbs 13:22 says that a good person leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Legacy is not only a bank account. Legacy is a way of thinking, working, giving, saving, deciding, and honoring God with resources. A family breaks cycles of poverty when it stops passing down fear and starts passing down wisdom. When children see parents paying debts, saving, working with excellence, giving with joy, and living with purpose, they receive an inheritance before they ever receive money. Do not use money only to survive the month. Use it to build a different story. Help those in need without destroying your own house. Give with joy and with order. Invest in education. Teach your children not to worship brands or fear work. Build something that does not end with you. Biblical prosperity is not ego with Bible verses. It is stewardship with mission. Money without purpose becomes noise and anxiety. With purpose, it becomes bread, shelter, education, freedom, generosity, and legacy. Breaking cycles of poverty is not only about earning more. It is about refusing to repeat what destroyed previous generations. Let us review the 5 biblical laws of money to break cycles of poverty. First, break the chain of debt before debt breaks your purpose. Second, store up in the good years so you do not beg in the hard years. Third, work with diligence even when no one is applauding you. Fourth, put your house in order before asking for more abundance. Fifth, turn money into seed for purpose and legacy. The question is not only how much you earn, the question is, what governs your decisions when money reaches your hands? Anxiety, appearance, debt, impulse, or the wisdom of God? If this video spoke to your life, do 3 things right now. First, comment the word freedom if today you decide to break a financial cycle in your family. Second, share this video with someone who is tired of living day to day, trapped in debt, or without direction. And third, subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell, because every week we open the Bible to discover principles of money, wisdom, discipline, purpose, and legacy. Remember this: poverty is not always broken by a lucky break. Many times it is broken by one holy decision repeated every day. Debt that gets cut off, savings that rise, work that is honored, a house that is put in order, generosity that sets the heart free, and purpose that gives direction. The Bible was never only a book for Sunday. It is also a map to order the heart, break financial chains, and build a life that blesses the next generation.